Linda Walker, Sean Maloney with the Buckeye Firearms, NRA board member. Linda, how are you?
Great. Here we are at the biggest family reunion on earth again, with the kindest crowd.
You know, that's the thing. Everybody gets along. Everybody loves being here. You know, I was talking yesterday with someone. It may have been you all, actually, because all of the conversations, you know, kind of run together. But
absolutely.
We were talking about how crowded the aisles were, and you know, you've just got to be patient. And I said, but you know, usually it's either you've got a stroller and there's a little kid, or you've got someone who's in a wheelchair or somebody who's in a scooter and needs some assistance. And people are patient. People understand. Everybody, you know, everybody is here to have a good time and celebrate our freedom.
Absolutely. There is no other convention out there where when you've got a crowd like this and you bump into someone, if you're not in a gun crowd, you've got a rude crowd. But you never, ever have a rude crowd in the gun community.
Yep.
Ever.
Absolutely. Sean, it's great to see you, sir, as well.
Thanks for having me, Sam. It's good to be back.
You bet. You know, listen, you all at Buckeye Firearms are doing activism right.
Yes.
I think in the state of Ohio. And Linda, I think you would agree, Sean is a huge part of that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Sean is not one to toot his own horn. So will you toot Sean's horn for me for a second here?
I will toot Sean's horn. Sean and I are both on the legislative team of Buckeye Firearms Association, and before we brought him into the leadership, he was just an NRA machine out there. He was doing everything on his own. He was very well known to us at Buckeye Firearms, and finally I had to ask him that question. Why don't you come and be part of our team? Well, I thought no one would ever ask me. And Sean was awarded the J. Littlefield Volunteer Award from the NRA a couple years ago, and I can't think of anyone who deserved it more.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You know, I would get emails from Sean. I was on your email list, and so I would get these emails from Sean. This was before you were an election volunteer coordinator, I think.
It was.
You're just an NRA member, and you were letting everybody you knew in the state of Ohio know what was going on with the Second Amendment, what they should be doing. And it was so great to see this true grassroots activism from someone who just wanted to make a difference.
Well, you know, that's the way it all starts. People always ask me, how do I get involved? You start talking to your neighbors, and if you think back that far, Cam, you were my only connection to the NRA really at that time. I mean, I was a member. I've been a member for years and years and years, but I got my information from Cam Company. And I listened and I asked questions, and we chatted back and forth, and so really you're as responsible for all of this as anybody else. Because for a lot of us out there, Cam, you're it. We're, you know, maybe midnight, but we get home at the end of the day, we've got to find out what's going on. You kind of load our lips for the next day, and we move on. So you provide that service also, and you probably don't realize that. We're listening.
Well, I appreciate that, but listen, you did the work. I may have helped give you the information, but you did the work, Sean. All right, so let's talk about what's going on in Ohio right now. How you all are not facing an onslaught of gun control bills at the moment?
There's been a couple that have been introduced. One got a hearing, I believe, on Tuesday. Vehemently anti-gun Representative Tracy Hurd. Essentially, it would be complete gun control, complete registration. She was allowed her sponsor testimony. I don't suspect that she will get another hearing on that. And we've got another representative, again, vehemently anti-gun. He's going to get his sponsor testimony. But the one thing in Ohio this year is we have got an A-plus Senate president. We've got an A-plus Speaker of the House. Governor Kasich is being very pro-gun. And we've got a very pro-gun Attorney General right now, and the planets are in a line that we are going to run some very large legislation right now, and it's being drafted right now. So hopefully by the end of the month, we're rolling out some big stuff. And keep an eye on BuckeyeFirearms.org. As we roll it out, it will be there. And Sean can talk a little more about what's going to be in that bill tentatively.
Okay.
So we don't want to disappoint our listeners just in case something doesn't get inserted into
Sure.
it.
No, absolutely. Well,
So-
as you say, this is a draft. This is a work in progress right now.
And
Right?
running legislation truly is like a game of chess. And you don't get everything at once. It's over the years, going through the different sessions. And, there's patience in getting legislation passed. So our chess game is coming to a very nice position right now.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, I don't want you to tip too much of your hand here, but can you give us a couple of things that you all are looking at including in this legislation?
Sure. We have the unique ability right now. Finally, they're coming to us. Instead of us knocking on their door, kicking their doors in, now we're in a position where we don't have to say anything. They come to us looking for our support. Governor Kasich has been reaching out and doing that. So essentially, we're going to try to clean everything up that all the other states have had. The workers' rights bill or safe passage. For a lot of the big companies in Ohio, they don't allow people to carry on their premises. So I can't even lock my firearm if I'm a concealed carry permit holder in my glove compartment and go to work. So essentially, I'm denied my Second Amendment rights from the time I get in my car to drive to work in the morning until I get home at night.
Right.
We're going to clean that up with the safe passage portion to at least allow somebody to store the firearm in your car. Automatic reciprocity, which we almost had last session. Something happened right at the end last minute where we had to remove that to get things done. It's kind of a give and take. We're redefining and cleaning up the armed teachers portion of the Ohio Revised Code. I happened to just write a memo and publish it on Buckeye Firearms about probably 2 weeks before the shooting in Connecticut. How we had the ability to arm our teachers, our staff, already in place, but nobody really looked at it because it was an afterthought. Well, as soon as Sandy Hook took place, my phone started ringing off the hook. And at the same time, I sat on Representative Hurd's committee on gun rights. That's what they labeled it. I was the lone pro-gun person on there. And I bit my tongue and I listened. I got them all to agree that it was all about the kids. The day that we were supposed to have our third meeting, she canceled the meeting, and that's when she rolled out her anti-gun legislation. And so what we're doing with that is to make sure that everybody knows how to properly implement an armed school district. What makes that nice is while we're sitting in these committees, while the legislatures are planning what they're trying to do, Mr. and Mrs. Ohio are contacting their sheriff's department and saying, I want something done.
Right.
I was contacted by different sheriff's departments throughout the state of Ohio. Sean, how do we arm our teachers? And I would be in executive session with the school board and the sheriff, and this is how it's done, and I probably have done that to a half a dozen schools. So Mr. and Mrs. Ohio are taking care of it, because then one school district would do it, and the neighboring school district parents would say, hey, wait a minute. I want my teachers and my kids protected.
That's fantastic. Linda and Sean, thank you both so much for coming on the program. It's always great to see you, and hope you enjoy the rest of the annual meeting.
Oh, absolutely. And we will see you at the Nationals in July and August, and we will welcome thousands of shooters to Ohio.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Camp Perry, the shores of Lake Erie.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming on the
Thank you.
program, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Okay, Cam.